What up, guys? Hope you had a good day today. I just want to do a quick video recap here of my trading on OGEN. OGEN today into the close on the left side here, you can see this big parabolic move. And OGEN obviously was a runner, pretty much on nothing, just hype. But after all, it ended up trapping a bunch of longs that were anticipating good news out of that conference. But this pattern, what I want to show you on OGEN is called the bounce short. So what you look for is a daily chart just like OGEN. You look for a big parabolic move, big gap down, and you want there to be air. So this is what I call air. When there's a big gap or smaller gaps between the price action, you don't want it to just be a smooth sell-off. You want there to be a big gap, and it's brutal to anyone that's long. They're just getting destroyed, and they're panicking. So when it spikes again, and they do most of the time, these are those low-hanging fruit plays that you keep your eye on in the coming days to just nail really quick. Now, for me, the reason why I traded it in the levels that I started watching it at was for many reasons. So what you want to look for when you're analyzing this chart is first you look at the daily chart. It was a former run that had a big, it just got demolished. And then now it's finally having its bounce. So now the people that were long on these days, this day here and this day here, mainly this day here because of the volume, the prior day volume is hardly comparable, but mainly this day's volume because you have 44.5 million shares traded, which is just bizarre. So let's draw this here. So if you look at this, the low on this day was 77.1. So I want to start seeing how things line up on different time frames. So obviously 77.1 is going to be a key area there. That's 77.1, but you know, DOS always rounds up. So that level, I want to see it over here on the intraday time frame as well. So I've got 77.1 over here, right there. That's the resistance from the daily chart, but you've got to also look back on a deeper time frame. Okay, you can see how that's the low, obviously, from this day, but most of the dips in all of this consolidation area was right around 85. Right? You've got a lot of chop right here in after hours into the close. You got a lot of dip buyers over here in the morning, and you got this midday dip right here as well that trapped shorts and had everybody thinking this was going to be the next blow off mover. So 85 is a key level, okay? Now you move over here to the line chart, and the line chart, I have these pivots on here. And you can see that the R1 pivot is 82, 81.7, but 82, okay? So you've got 78 or 77.1 right here. You've also got the pivot here at 82. You want to know why it failed at 82? Well, look at the pivot, right? So you've got three resistance levels that it's spiking into. So most of the time, it's going to get through the first. It rarely gets through the third without overwhelming volume. It has to have overwhelming volume if it makes it through the third. And if it makes it through the third, you just got to cut it and move on because this is an anomaly to the pattern, and it's just not a trade. So if my plan was this, get started after 77. If 77 breaks and it starts to get up here, I was like, okay, this fits the pattern. There's some meat on the bone now. I'm going to start taking some shorts. So now you can see this fill right here at 80 cents. These were 79.9. And this fill right here at 79.9999, da 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 da. This fill was my starter position, okay? I was ready to add at 85 and I actually had an order setting up here that, you know, if it ever made it, it was going to pop it and, you know, pull back, but it only got to 82. Why did it only get to 82? Because, again, 82 on the pivot line, right? So now it's failed right here. So as we zoom in, on this chart. My zoomer isn't wanting to work. Whoops. There we go. So now, as you can see, I added here. This is where I shorted. It's popped to 82. Now it stuffs, right? So this is what you call stuffing action. So when it has a hard pullback on volume, now you look at this bar right here. This bar right here, when it goes to 82, it just kind of blows its load, right? It's got 616,000 shares, and it can't do any more. It blows its load, and then it stuffs. That is a good sign of trend reversal. I shorted into this bounce right here just to add to my winner, right? And then I covered like a bitch because why? I was just gun shy. All I was is because I saw the money and I got antsy and I wanted to lock it in. And so I just locked it in, only for it to go bleh and go to 66, and that would have been bankroll. But instead, I missed it on the good cover down here. I just took the quick money here because, again, I was only risking once. Here's what happened. So this starter right here, I was ready to go to 85. Now, once it had this hard pullback, I said, nope, risk is now 82. So I was risking 3 cents on there. So I added to my winner, and then I locked in roughly 6 cents. It's actually about 5.5 cents. So I had a quick 2-to-1 scalp, and that was all I played. But if you have conviction in these plays, and you should, because this is, again, what you call the bounce short. Again, you want a big parabolic move, bags the longs, and then each pop is going to get sold into. If you think I'm lying to you, look at InBev. This is the same pattern. InBev. So, big day of destruction over here, right? So now you've got bagged longs up to about 571, right? Right here at the low of that day, 571. So now when it gaps down here and tries, here, my goal, in my opinion, was 571. It never quite made it there for me. That's why I never took the trade. But again, when you get a day like this day, after it's bagged everybody and it can't get back up there, you can use this day as your risk level, right? You can now use 526 as your risk. You can now short the bounce on the 25th, which was this day right here. And if you're risking off of 26, you've now got up until this point there. That's your risk level. The high of the day was not on that red line. Let's remove that. Was 519. So boom, there you go. You can short that little bounce and cover into the pullback, and it's low stress, no worries. All you're doing is just taking the quick money, and you've got a defined risk, you've got a defined entry, you've got a defined profit target, and that's a strategy, folks, right there. So I hope you've learned something from that. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me any messages. Y'all take it easy. Later.